Hey there, lovely Notre Dame. We are super excited to introduce Malik Zaire to the family and our podcast this evening. So welcome, Malik. It's awesome to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is always good to be able to talk to you guys.
Great to have you, buddy.
Absolutely.
It's awesome to see you, man. You still have that same smile. So you haven't aged a day.
You got the nicest teeth I ever saw in my life.
You really have.
Oh man, thank you so much.
So Malik, kind of tell us about your high school days, playing football, Ohio. What was that like? Being recruited by Notre Dame? Just kind of take us back and start from the beginning.
Well, my dad, yeah, I lived on one side of town in Trotwood, Ohio. That's where I grew up all my life. And my dad ended up coaching and getting involved with Alter High School because that's the high school he wanted me to go to. This is while they were like, on top in high school at the time. They were winning state championships with Austin Boucher, who was left-handed too, like myself, and Chris Borland and Justin Hall and Danny, and all these guys that were like I looked up to in high school. I mean, they were really good going through the ranks. My eighth grade year, going into my freshman year of high school, I won a state championship, and I wanted to go in there and compete, but we always. And then sophomore year, I had a chance to play varsity, and we had won state like back to back, so it was like a crazy year. And then my junior year, when I first started, we went undefeated, and we lost in the first round of the playoffs to the team that ended up going like to state that year, which was crazy. We were scoring in the game, and we had went up, and it was 2 minutes left, and the team we were going against was a wing T team, so they went 80 yards in 2 minutes and won the game doing all wing T. So year, I was doing all the football camps at this time, so I was doing like college camps in terms of like Cincinnati and Wisconsin, and I did a Ohio State camp one time. My first offer was in the summer of my junior year, and I had went to Cincinnati camp and it went great. They had offered me, and that was like my first offer, which was everybody's first offer at the time in high school. I started getting offers, more offers. So like the biggest offer that came after Cincinnati was Wisconsin. That was like my next offer. And then right when I was about to commit, the head coach that I really liked, he ended up going to Pittsburgh. So I kind of waited on my commitment at the time. And senior year, we were doing really good. And we lost again with that. But so my next couple offers was like Pittsburgh, obviously, because Wisconsin's coach was there. And I went to visit. And as I came back, Notre Dame had called me, getting a chance to play at Notre Dame. Was like, that's different than playing at Ohio State. My logic was, if I go and I win against all those guys, then that would technically make me the best, because you could be like the best quarterback at Notre Dame. You really doing something. So I was like super excited for that challenge, and I really it was like a no-brainer. So
let me ask you something, Malik. So we go 8-5 that year. This is around the time that Kelly is the self-imposed, as I call it. I'm not a fan of his. Anyway, he's a self-imposed CEO. So that means he's taken over offensive play calling. Did you see that as a detriment? Did you see that as a benefit? What did you feel about that?
I mean, I just think at the end of the day, it's hard to operate when you listening to a lot of different voices. You know what I mean? Like, as just a whole unit perspective. Like, if you were at a job and, you know what I mean, you got a hierarchy or a structure that you're working by, you can't have everybody at the top, because it's like, how are you going to ever function? You know what I mean? I just think we've had a lot of, during those years I was playing, we had a lot of penalties from getting the play in late. You know what I mean? And, like, that stuff is very preventable when you gotta, be on the same page. You can't be discussing having different things when we need to be going. So we suffered a lot of that. But I think that's just growing pains.
And that's coaching.
A lot of it.
And that's
I think a
coaching,
lot
Malik.
of it, yeah, like, nobody, I think we had such a special group of talent between the years I was there that I don't think everybody kind of knew what to do with all of it. Like, how do you use all of those guys to the best of their ability? Because I honestly think we have better talent than anybody in the country from top to bottom and backups and whoever else. And it just, we had so much that it was hard, like, everybody couldn't be on the same page. Everybody want to do something different. So, that was probably one of the toughest things that we had dealt with as an offense in terms of finding identity, because it's like, what do you want to do? Like,
Do you think Brian Kelly keeping Brian Van Golder as the defensive coordinator hurt the team?
well, talking to the new guys and how they like the last couple of years of coaching from Polian and even the guy that's there now, like the last two defensive coordinators they had, I just think that, coaches have a way of either being a player's coach or doing the way they like to do, and I think finding the balance is always what makes a coach great. Coach Van Gorder was not an easy coach to just be like, oh, we can do whatever, in terms of you got to be real technical. No matter who we had out there is what I'm getting at, because we had such a talented team. We could call a bad play and make it good. You know what I mean? Especially the defensive side of football for a long time. I think we gave up a lot of things because, it was more structural. We just wasn't. We gave up a lot. Like, for instance, we gave up a lot of points, but that's in mix of, being confused on some stuff and just. But other than that,
in hindsight, do you think Kelly's improved?
I mean, just compared to his success on the team, man, Coach Kelly's those guys that knows how to weather the storm. I think, like I said, it was just, we had such a collection of talent mixed with controversy, mixed with TV shows at the time that, like, I don't think anybody could have handled that, like, great. You know what I mean? But Coach Kelly, if anything, he know how to save the ship at the end of the day.
About the elephant in the room. So Texas game, awesome. You're starting, everything's clicking. You guys are doing great. This is your season, Malik. This is your season. You're at the helm. Virginia game, oh my God. Did you know right away how severe it was? What went through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, there's some things I wish we could have called differently, obviously, but we had a good game. We had some things that I wish we could have called differently throughout the game. I mean, we were stalling on 3rd and 1s when we had the whole, like, I think we could have been more creative. But we had opportunity. We was in the red zone again, and we had a run pass option. And I'm thinking, like, okay, like, if I try to get left and try to beat the guy off the edge, then we can, like, at least move the ball a little bit. So we run the play, and I'm thinking I got it. I knew, and I felt him, like, behind me, grab me. And I felt my ankle get locked in it. And I was like, I tried to, like, move a little bit, and it broke. And I got up immediately because I was like, oh, I just hope it's like a sprained ankle. Immediately I got up because I was, like, going. And I heard it pop and everything. So I knew it was broke. So I stood up. And then I tried to put my foot down. It just wasn't happening. So, Rob came over. I was like, Rob, it's broke. You ain't even got to, do all the tests. Like, just help me get up. You know what I mean? Just help me get on the field, get off the field. And so we were winning, by the way. We had just got a big play, the play before that. And and then I got over to so I knew it was broken. I just started crying, man. Like,
you know what?
Because I knew, like, that was like, I felt like I worked so hard.
If that didn't happen, we could have had a national championship.
Oh my God, I already know. I talk about that shit all the time. I'm like, that was a national championship undefeated team for sure. Like, I mean, we were just too talented. Like, there wasn't nothing that we couldn't accomplish at the time. And I mean, we had it all going on. And I knew it, especially because I just felt so in sync with everybody on the team that I knew we could go all the way. So getting hurt, that's what I was really crying about too. I was like, no, like it was right, right there. Like I knew he was going to win the Virginia game, but like just beyond that, I mean, we had Clemson on week 4, and that was going to be a huge game for us. And I just, obviously everything flies to you. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the second game of my like career. Like this not even like the 7th, like where I got my feet wet a little bit. Like this was like, I'm rolling, you know what I mean? Like we finna go all the way, and I get hurt so early. It just is like,
Then and then you got Showtime following you all over the place. I mean, must have been just
yeah, it was
devastating.
like,
Malik,
it was
I got
definitely devastating.
I got a question for you, and I want an honest answer from you.
And I want to hear this.
Do you feel that Brian Kelly was honest with you after the injury about your placement on the team, your role, your starting role as quarterback for Notre Dame? Do you feel like he was honest with you?
I mean, that's huge. That's a huge question. Obviously, they got to show on the TV show, and
I saw the show, so I know what he said.
And like this is like obviously my darkest moment in my playing career, and it's just me, my mom, and Coach Kelly. Like it's the only people in the locker room, and like I'm just going through it, and like people say things all the time, you know what I mean, and I truly felt good from the conversation, but I just like you still got this, like we just got to get healthy, you're gonna be fine. You have to like just emotional over the fact that I felt like I've given so much and put so much to like making this work, and then me being like, it's not like I was playing bad, you know what I mean? It's not like I was like the worst quarterback in the world. Like if anything, I was doing what you wanted me to do. I wasn't turning the ball over. Like we scoring, we doing whatever we want to do, and I'm like, there's no way this is like. I still feel like I should be running the show, like obviously. And then
so
like that's super tough to hear.
Did he lie to you and your mother? I watched the program.
I mean, we learned a lot. I mean, I learned a lot about Coach Kelly after that, after the whole situation, you know what I mean? And some of it, I just really think that he meant it in the moment, obviously, but I mean, you can never see somebody's true loyalty to an individual. I mean, I guess because until a situation occurs, you know what I mean? And it was just super tough to deal with personally, because it's like, you put so much faith into thinking this is a team thing, and being personally invested in your own growth so you can help the team, obviously, and just feeling like you deserved it. Like I just feel like I earned at least the respect enough to at least get a chance for my situation. I don't know if he felt like something changed for the situation. Like I said, I mean, our team was so good that like Brandon could have got in there, as good as Brandon is, and we still had an opportunity to go to the national championship because the guys we had going were just so good. You know what I mean? Like, so the situation obviously with Deshaun coming in and winning like he did with the team, and how we finished the season being so close yet so far, you know what I mean? And I mean, we went through a lot that season.
You think you got screwed?
I mean, I don't know, man. Just understanding just the system of college football. Like, I just feel like, yeah, obviously my situation wasn't fair.
It's a turn and burn.
It wasn't fair at all. Yeah, but like that's the downside to playing high level football, that when you're trying to make it, you know what I mean? Like there's gonna be things that you just honestly can't control. And
but we all love you.
I think because of that,
We all
situation
love
like
you,
I said.
man. That's why we're asking these questions.
And no, and I mean, absolutely.
Yeah,
You
man,
know,
it was super tough.
you know, one of the real reasons I hate Brian Kelly is because of you, is because of what he said to you. I felt like it was absolutely terrible. Um, you know, I felt like it was absolutely terrible what he did to you. So, you know, what else? So let's get over, you know, injured, Kaiser comes in, then you go to spring ball, okay? And you guys are in another quarterback competition. How was that to be involved in single damn spring? It's another QB competition.
I don't know, man. Like at this point, I just at this point, you're going through a lot, man. I'm coming back from injury. And now, you got coach telling you that he don't know who he wants to start. And like, you get all these reports of guys getting potential to leave for the draft, top picks and stuff. So, now you got people's egos. And so after that year we had, not everybody, there was a lot of people that felt like, oh, we were like really like one step close to really doing it. So I guess Coach Kelly felt like, we had something good going and like, let's make a competition out of it, whatever. But I mean, it just felt like the F situation again, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you go into it and it's like there was always this feeling of like this underlying, everybody knows what the right answer is, but we just gonna play it out, you know what I mean? So, you go into camp and even the spring game, I feel like the spring game kind of told me everything on how they were moving forward, in terms of like how the teams are set up and just the way they, I kind of felt like the Jalen Hurts thing, like, it just like they love you or whatever, but they not showing you any love. They got this underlying mission, or like that everybody's like on the same page except you, kind of thing. So, it definitely was one of the more interesting QB battles or whatever you call them. That I feel like I got one every year, which is like I don't think anybody has went through more QB battles than I did. Like I'm probably like the most QB battle quarterback in Notre Dame history for sure. Like
Yeah,
compared
I
to how
mean,
everybody else just get these like full seasons, full seasons. They can just play for games. Like every year, I felt like I had to go through some huge, dramatic, media filled like quarterback battle where it's like they never told me I wasn't good enough. They just never gave me the spot either. They just was like, that's probably the most frustrating thing in the world is that they not telling you that you're doing anything bad. They just never giving it to you, and you watching guys around you just be getting. It felt like passes to just do whatever they want, and then you be on the tightest leash ever, like, and then do crazy stuff like be a field goal holder for games, and then be at this trick receiver thing. Like I just like towards the end of my getting hurt, it just like I go from starter. I mean, it just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? And it was
so
tough.
Malik, how difficult was it watching them go 4-8 and you're sitting on the bench? I mean, I mean, is that why in November you said kind of screw it, I'm transferring?
I mean, yeah, man. Like we go into the Texas game 14 days before the game, and coach talking about he don't know who he wants to play. I'm like, it just. I'm like, oh, this is just terrible. You know what I mean? Like, you going from working so hard for a certain, position, you get told you can still have it. You do everything, you train to come back, and they not telling you that you can't do it. It's just they just don't know who they want to do it, kind of thing. And I knew from there it was going to be a rough season because it's like you can't operate on not knowing stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you got people, you telling people that, you know, you're both your quarterbacks, some of the best offensive playmakers you got on the team. That's not good, because it's like, okay, we may understand that, but, you know, you got to make a decision. I feel like it should have been decided a lot earlier if that's how you were going to go about it. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me like, oh, this is so hard to make a decision. You know what I mean? That's why you got to get paid the big bucks. You got to make hard decisions. You know what I mean? We waited too close, I felt like, to get to the game. And then I just, like, the first game was like, I just knew everything was all bad after the first game. Like, we go for kickoff, and they like, I don't know who's starting that, you know, going into the game. I'm like, okay, like, am I going or is Deshaun going? How we going to do this? First drive, they're just like, okay, all right, Deshaun, you're going to take it, whatever. So they go down and score. I'm like, this is great. Like, okay, we rolling. You know what I mean? I'm getting in. And it's just like, it was just a totally, it just wasn't set up. Like, it was just a disparity between the two ways we were doing it, you know. And then,
That's called coaching.
you know, Deshaun had a great game for, you know, he was doing a great job. And, you know, we're giving up a whole bunch of points. We're getting this an exciting game, and I get it. And we're doing a back and forth thing, and it's just like, it just wasn't the same. Like, I felt like, personally, you know, you call it what you call it, but I feel like it just wasn't called the same for the both of us, which I get, but I don't get at the same time. You know what I mean? We practiced a whole week of things to run, and, you know, I just felt like it could have been called differently for me. So, you know, whatever. You know, we go through the game, we lose the game, and, you know, it's not like we won. You know what I mean? We lost. I feel like there's still opportunity to figure out our identity, to establish, like, what direction we're going. But, you know, I could tell from how they called it and the situations they were putting me in throughout the game that, you know, they just wanted to kind of, you know, make it clear if it wasn't trying to be clear already, you know what I mean? Trying to just whatever. So we go into the Michigan State week after we lost, and at this point I'm just like, man, it's just tough,
Bullshit.
you know what I mean? Because you don't know nothing, you know, you don't know what's really going on. It's just, everything is seeming like a strain. Like, it's nothing like,
Malik,
you know, it never felt like, oh.
let me tell you, what you're telling me is a coaching situation. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it was just.
and I see you getting emotional about this, and you should have been an All-American at Fighting Irish.
You should have, or at least been given
like,
a damned opportunity, and not just this dual threat and this running quarterback. You know, I mean, my God, you had an arm, and I think it wasn't utilized fairly at all.
And the first quarterback
I
for Notre Dame to be left-handed.
Second left-handed quarterback to start at Notre Dame.
Yeah, man, it's just tough, you know, because then it's like you're losing, and, you know, it's still like, if we checking resumes, you know, because I feel like the greatest thing about football is that it's about your production, you know, it's about the results you put in. And in the limited time I've ever even got to play, I felt like I produced well enough to at least to get a chance to play when we're losing, you know what I mean? Like, we lose 4 games in a row, and it's like they not even like checking for me. They not even.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, it is total bullshit. It's bullshit what you had to go through. It's terrible.
Breaking up, buddy.
You know, let's mix it up at least. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's just like, it was just never set up for me, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it was never like
The stars.
for me, because basically, you know, but like, basically it came down to, like I said, after that Texas game we had lost, you know, obviously the house was on fire because we gave up 50 points.
Yeah.
And people like, what we doing, kind of thing. So Michigan State week's coming, and or the Nevada game. Yeah, the Nevada game comes, and like, and like for some reason, like whatever, like I don't get into the end, and when I get in, we go all the way down and score with like the first team, and then the next drive I get like, the next drive I get all the freshmen, all the young guys, all the, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Why?
I was just starting
Why?
for you, dang, I was just starting for you. Now I'm like carrying like all the young guys, you know what I mean? Like this is crazy. So after the Nevada game, whatever, or Michigan State goes, and I talked to Coach Kelly, and he's just like, you know, it's the toughest decision, you know, I ever had, kind of thing, and we just gonna go with what we've been winning with. So I'm like, basically, this whole competition thing from beginning of me getting even back didn't matter because you was just gonna go with who was playing the most. So it's like I couldn't do anything about that. You know what I mean? And I mean, then we started losing, and then I still wasn't playing, and then it just became like whatever. Like it's hard to, you know, be vested in something where you don't feel vested. You know, you don't feel like
it's hard for
nobody has
something
your back.
not to turn out the way you wanted it. But
Sure.
Did you ever think that maybe you should have gone to UCLA or USC where they have good, what's it called, Megan, for TV production?
Oh, well, Malik, we know that you majored in, film and TV, Now, is that something that you always wanted to do, or is that something was it post Showtime? I mean, what made you kind of think that TV and film, but I'm sure that you wanted to play football. So that's why you went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, so Notre Dame I knew that I loved what Notre Dame offered with film and television as an opportunity because I was originally a political science major. I was super into, nonprofit organization building, CSRs, getting into the political science, sector of things. Didn't really think too much of how I was going to segue into film and television because I was still and trying to just find my lane in football.
Let me ask you a question, man. How hard was it? So we're fans. We have no idea what's going through your head. I mean, this whole frustrating experience. How hard was it for you to finally say, come November, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going to transfer. What was that like?
Well, it was a part of my plan going into Notre Dame was if I go in early, I can graduate early and then like go to the league early. And then if I don't, and if something happens, I can still graduate early and I can just be free to do whatever I want to do,
Yeah, you got your degree, man. That's awesome.
So the hardest part about Notre Dame is after getting through 2 years and, football not going great for you, you want to leave, you're so close to finishing with your degree that you get like kind of stuck there. You know what I mean? So it's like you wouldn't want to leave when you're so close to getting done at Notre Dame to go venture off to another school for football. So I kind of planned it to go early anyway, so I wouldn't be tied to that. I could just tell that they just wanted to have a turnover with the team, and I was graduating. I felt like I've given a lot to the situation, and I felt like I've, for the little time I played, I got a bowl game MVP. Like I set a record at Notre Dame for like the second left-hander to like get like a high percentage completion in a game type of deal. Like, yeah, and like I got a chance to play like with all my friends at least for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I did a lot for the little time that I got a chance to. And as much as I wanted to stay, obviously, Coach Kelly I just don't think he was feeling me ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget the Florida State week when we went down to Florida State, and I was having a good ass week of practice because Florida State was like my like dream school growing up. Like, and then to like to beat him, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I'm so about it. Like, so I'm like going extra hard in practice. It's just like the Thursday before the game, and I did something like really good, and Coach Kelly was like, oh man, like I was about to give up on you type shit.
Yeah.
like, but like, you know, even though he was like laughing, like I took it super personal because like, you know, I know that he just, I don't know, man. He just always, I don't know, he just never had it out for me. Like, maybe I don't know what it was for or whatever, and I think that it harmed what could have been for our team, obviously. But um, you know, whatever. Like, and then the Florida State game come up, and Evan got hurt, and he had went out for like 10 plays. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to play Jameis at Florida State. Like, I've been waiting for this moment, and it was like the longest possession of the game. It was like a 10-play drive, like with all this time burned off the clock, and Ev came back out of the tunnel as soon as we switched the offense. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, I was so close to getting into that game. That's when they had like the championship year, and like that was like man, I was so like so close to getting in and whatever. And so there's a lot of opportunities I wish I could have at least played in. Like, and then you know I got to play in some cool venues or whatever and do some cool stuff, but. I mean, it could have obviously been a lot more special, but it was special for what I felt like I got a chance to do. So I decided to transfer just because, I mean, I had an opportunity to go anywhere. You know what I mean? It was like a second chance at life, as you know, football life. And that was like worse than the first time.
Dude,
And I think
okay,
it's really
so
true.
Malik, that was terrible, dude. The Florida. I mean, shit. Okay, you go in, you get injured. You sit out one play, they send your ass right back in. I mean, what the
Duck.
fuck? What the fuck?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
Dude, it was like, I felt so bad for you, man. I'm like, God, this kid can't fucking catch a break. I mean, it's like, dude.
yeah, man. Like, not catching a break has just been like my thing, I guess. But like, the situation going into Florida was great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was Charlie Fry was like one of my big mentors. Like, still one of my big mentors. Like, he's a super knowledgeable guy. I learned so much from Charlie, man. Like, that was like 90% of the reason I went. It's just to learn from a guy like that, to like have like the right knowledge to, you know, if I get a chance to play in the league, that I can feel good about being there because I know how to, you know, gain and maintain kind of thing. And they just came off of back-to-back SEC championships against Alabama, where they were quarterback short, essentially. You know, and they just did it with a grad transfer the year before me. I'm like, all right, well, it just set up to be a perfect opportunity. You know what I mean? And I get down there. I mean, it was cool. Like, I got down there. And, I mean, it was great. Like, we had Antonio Callaway and a bunch of first round potential guys that year. So the talent was good, like Notre Dame, man. It was the SEC. So it was like just all the factors were playing into it really well. I get down there and like, oh my goodness. Before we even start the season, you know, we get a big scandal. We got in trouble. So a lot of guys that I was looking forward to playing with, we didn't get a chance to play together because they were going through that. And I think that kind of messed us up. Then we had a hurricane where we missed the game because of that. And then, you know, it was like some hurricane at the time, and we missed the game. I felt like I should have got opportunity sooner. You know, at this point, you know, I understood how grad transfers work in college football. Like, you know, their loyalty is like not really to you because you're one-year guys. You know, it was me and Luke Del Rio, who I think is a really good quarterback. You know, he caught some unlucky breaks too. But it was two of us, two fifth-year guys. We're experienced. We got we got we got games under our belt. And it was a sophomore guy that's never played before. Our first game's at Michigan. It's a big game, whatever. And it's a three-way battle the whole time. That's what I'm saying. It's like worse than Notre Dame. Like, I'm thinking I'm going in to play, and now I'm going against 2-3 other guys. It wasn't a winning situation, So they end up starting the kid that never played compared to the two guys that were fifth-year seniors. And so I'm like, oh, this is just going to go just how I just left from this. I just left from the same situation. So we go into the season, and we play in the first game, and I get in when, we weren't doing too hot. And I mean, that was a tough game. That was probably the toughest game I've ever played in, hands down, just from, it was just so much going on. So after that game, it was like deja vu. I had the same conversation with my coach like I had with Coach Kelly. It was like, we're just going to go with the younger guy, and we're losing, and I'm still not playing. Losing, still not playing. I finally get in against Georgia. And we're losing like 42-0. And first 3 plays, just like my whole career, we go in and score. Like, ain't nobody score all game. I scored the first 3 plays.
Run it up the middle.
Yeah, like, we found a way to score. Right after that game, our coach gets fired middle of the season. And then I finally get a chance to start. And this is like after we already lost the chance of being the SEC championship. And first game is starting. We go to South Carolina, and it was a struggle, but we were doing good. We were heating up. Same type of play I got at Notre Dame. I got hurt on. We called the same thing. Go up, and I get hurt. I get up real fast because I'm like, this should be just the worst thing in the world, just to get hurt again. You know what I mean? I get up, and I'm like, okay, I think I could be all right. Like, as long as I don't have to fucking run. Like, I'm a quarterback. I should be doing this shit anyway. If I could throw, we call it throw play. So stay in, but like, I know I'm not mobile at all. We line up, and he calls a fucking quarterback fucking run. I'm like, who fucking does that? Like,
No,
who fucking does that? So I'm like, maybe, like, I don't understand why people are so obsessed with me running the football. Like, I felt like I was a way better passer of the football than a thrower of the football or whatever. So we run the play right after he see me just get fucking hurt. And like, I'm thinking I can shake it off. I go straight down because there's no chance. So that was it right there. Like, a chance to play Florida State the next game, and I missed that chance again. Like, I couldn't believe it. We played Florida State the next fucking week.
Dude, shit.
We had a chance to play Florida State that next week, and I got hurt a fucking game. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, oh man. So yeah, like, I missed out on playing Florida State twice. Who fucking does that? And then, just unfortunate stuff happened. But still,
Hey,
even
Malik.
through all of that, yeah.
So Malik, last I saw you tried out with the Jags last year. Is that correct? How'd that go?
So I got it. It went great. It went like it was a dream come true. Like, the Jags were my favorite team growing up. So
Not the
I
Browns?
knew I had to. No, I was never a Browns fan. I was always a Jags fan.
Ah,
Like, for real. Like, David Garage, my guy. Like, Reese Jones, Drew. So Mark Brunell was like their all-franchise leading quarterback. He's left-handed. Like, come on, like, give me a break. So even through all of what I went through, I killed the workout that I got with Jacksonville throughout training. I killed that workout and Baltimore. So I thought I was going to go to Baltimore too, but that's when they drafted Lamar. But I had a really good workout at Jacksonville, and I was the only quarterback throwing. So I'm like, oh, they must like me and stuff. I'm telling them, oh, I'm such a huge Jacksonville fan because I am, you know what I mean? And so, like, the draft goes or whatever, and I get a call that, oh, we want you to come to rookie minicamp. I was super excited. Like, perfect. I'm taking all the pictures because, I've always wanted to play Jacksonville. I go down there and I kill it. Like, I just did so good. Like they had nothing bad to say. Just, oh yeah, you did great.
Awesome.
I had really good plays, and it was like Coach Coughlin said I was doing good, so I'm like, all right, whatever. But like, you know, you learn fast that it's like a business too, and they just didn't have enough spots for me. They had already signed. So the thing is, like, okay, so they only take 2 quarterbacks to camp. I was the only other quarterback with the guy they drafted.
We're breaking up a little bit.
So they already signed the kid before we even practiced. You know what I mean? So like, I knew I wasn't going to make it to begin with because they only taking 3 to camp and they signed 3s, and I'm like, obviously I'm not gonna make it, but I left a really good impression on them. You know what I mean? And I was really happy about it, honestly, because it's like through all I've been
You
through.
play any other positions in high school?
No, like I've always been a quarterback. Like I just think people just get enamored with me running because like I don't like to get hit. So I'm like, I'm not seeking contact. I'm like getting out of the way of people.
That's why you run so
I guess people
fast.
like seeing that.
Yes.
But like my completion percentage was great when I was playing. Like the LSU game, I was 12 for 15. The Texas game, I was 22 for 25. Like
That's
I don't know
number
why
2.
people never.
That record against Texas is number 2 in Notre Dame history for the best percentage in a single game.
But that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I feel like I proved that I could be really, really good for the team. So it was like, how is it that I just didn't get a chance to play more? I don't know. I think that's like the most frustrating.
Hey, Malik, I got a question for you from Vincent Sabatino. How do you pronounce his name, Megan? Vincent?
Sabatino. Vincent, Vinny, my boy. Yeah.
He said they're putting down natural grass for the soccer game at Notre Dame Stadium. Do you guys, the recruits, do they prefer natural grass or field turf?
Natural grass is always nice to play on because you can get a little bit more traction. But like, you know, you're gonna play on. It's more about the crowd surrounding. You know, you want to play in front of like crazy crowds. That's like the go for. Like you could do that. I mean, there's nothing like that feeling. You know what I mean? So yeah, natural turf is probably a softer landing for sure. It's not like
so you'd rather play on natural grass?
Yeah, because that's NFL plays on natural grass. Yeah, natural grass is it's a little grittier. It makes it more football like, you know, like
Absolutely.
you gotta like push through.
Remember that, Megan.
Playing a goddamn game, you know? It's a little bit more authentic, I think. What do you think of the Jumbotron at ND and all the campus crossroads and all the money and all that? What do you think?
I mean, Notre Dame is it's always evolving, man. When I went back for just the pro day, yeah, I was like, I didn't even know I went to school there. They got so many new things on. I'm like, oh my gosh, if we only had half of this stuff. Oh man, it changed so much within a year. Like I was like, wow. And then to see the stadium and how crazy decked out it is, I just know what it used to be like, especially even back to when I was getting recruited. And to see what it is now, it's like it's a whole new experience.
Imagine
it'd be great to be a fan and just go back and just watch games. Oh my goodness, man.
1966 was my first year.
So you really know like the jump. It goes back to, I think that during those years from 13 to 15, 16, like it was so much change going on with the stadium, with the campus, with the scandals and the coaches changing every year. Like having Matt LaFleur as my quarterback coach, and now he's the head coach of the Packers.
I know. How cool is that? Man, that's awesome. I know.
But the linebacker is still the same.
Be like, dude.
Like seriously, like he was calling the plays for my LSU game, and like we did so well together. So like, what the heck?
Should give him a call.
I'm so serious.
How about another question?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, Malik. Notre Dame talks about all these educated athletes, student athletes. Is that real, or is that just a bunch of BS, man? I mean, what do you really think?
I think Notre Dame specifically does a great job of recruiting guys that are holistic and being like more adventurous in what they want to pursue in their lives outside of just football. Um, the good thing about going to Florida and Notre Dame is you get to see the difference between two different schools and two different types of schools. Um, and the availability that Notre Dame gives you to pick a certain degree and let you try it and run with it and try to make it work. Is different from other schools because what you learn at other schools is that the mentality of the guy is different than at a Notre Dame, where the mentality is more focused on having the career pushed solely towards football with a lot more baggage to it than it is just playing football with a chance of making it to the next level. There's more needs than wants. So the energy you have to spend in college football is hard. I don't think it's conducive to being both student athlete because I think the biggest trap is that you get so focused on football because one, you have to. You check in to work at 2:00 every day for football, and in the mornings there's no like, oh, I got a class in between to go to. It's like you better get all your classes done before 2:00, and they don't offer classes sometimes in later evening hours or whatever. So you only stuck to a certain amount of things you can even take, essentially. And football comes first. So, and that's what you understand going into it because that's what you want. You know what I mean? You want to get a chance at making a whole bunch of money in a short amount of time. Like you're not thinking long term, and you almost can't because it's just like the biggest thing, which I'm so blessed that I got a chance to start working for overtime, is that a lot of guys when they get stuck in between the period of leaving college and floating around as a free agent, if you're not hitting the draft right away, is that you don't really know what you like. You know what I mean? A lot of guys don't even know what they even like because they've never had real free time to be like, oh, like I'm interested in this or I'm interested in this because you're so stuck on the dream of if I take 3.5 years, I can go get paid a lot more than getting a communications degree. You know what I mean? So you lose sight, obviously, but that's just the machine that you jump into. You know what I mean? Notre Dame allows you to try to dip in a little to both. But even at Notre Dame, you just know the rules. You know where you got to be, and it's not meant for everybody. It's truly not meant for everybody. Like you got to have a certain kind of willpower to get through Notre Dame because it would this. You see a lot of guys come and go. I don't think everybody understands exactly what it takes to get through that. But, the guys that do get through are your lifelong friends and they're really strong people. So um, you go get a lot of bruises at Notre Dame, but I think it prepares a lot of the people that.
How's your life now?
Yeah, what are you
it's
up
going
to?
So now I work for this entertainment sports network, and I'm still a free agent. So now I'm working for Overtime, which is the entertainment sports network. Basically, we're on all digital markets with YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat. I'm basically like the football host, so I help produce shows that we do and feature top talented kids and do NFL events or whatever events we get access to. And it's fun because you can still hang around the top athletes coming up and building relationships with those guys and making the kids interested and having fun with it, as well as, still being involved with football without being on the field. You know what I mean? So It's really cool. I get a chance to travel and meet all types of kids that I know are going to be doing well in the future, and it's crazy how things worked out. I mean, I'm using my film and television degree and didn't even know this is even possible, you know, right after. So it's just a blessing.
Yeah, thank you so, so much. It's so cool to meet you and to get an idea of who you really are and your personality. And so thank you so, so much for your time. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Malik.